I appreciate it. It was great to do the show with you, and I look forward to seeing that. In terms of growth, we've done it for several years. I mean, we went public in 2021, and if you look back from then to now, we've grown the top line really nicely. So I'd say that you look back and you think that we have a strong path going forward as well. I'd also just call out that the 10.3 million subs is great. We're excited about that. We feel really good about that growth. But we're also seeing really nice diversification of subscribers. So we have continued strength in our family plan, which is a subscription where multiple friends and family can join. And as of the last quarter, 7% of our subs were on our max tier, which is our highest tier service, which has features like video call with Lily, and it's doing really well. So it's a great story, not just on the overall top line numbers, but on how we're growing the subscribers.
I mean, that's wild. Almost 50% year over year growth, Matt. I am curious, who are these people that are signing up? How long do they stay with you? And what's the cost to acquire an individual user?
Yeah, so our one of our core business model advantages is that when we acquire a user, we acquire them mainly for free. We do spend on performance marketing and some brand spend, but it's relatively small as a percentage of revenue. And so most of our growth comes from people telling their friends and family that they've had a great and engaging experience with our app. That's why Luis is so focused on engagement as a core driver of growth for us, is that if you have this wonderful, joyful experience, you're going to tell people about it and they're going to try it. And then the other way is we have a really amazing social-first marketing strategy where we insert ourselves into viral moments online, TikTok, Instagram, and other platforms. And users create their own content, which goes viral. And so on any given day, a lot of what people are talking about on Duolingo isn't generated by us. It's generated by our, beloved fan base. When you have that type of user acquisition and it is global, we're seeing strong user growth around the world. We get a lot of opportunities to then convert folks from free subscriber to paid, or from free user to paid subscriber. And they stick around on the platform and they come back frequently. And so we get multiple chances to convert them. And while while time is progressing, we're making the subscription product even better and better. So that's how we grow the subscriber base.
We'll talk a little bit in a minute about the social first marketing, because something kind of wacky seems to be happening right now. If you look at the social channels for Duolingo, but I'm wondering specifically, Matt, about growth and about, at the end of the day, the efficacy of the product. And I'm wondering how you measure to what extent the product actually resonates and works for people who are trying to learn English as a second language, for example, to be able to do business in the US or to be able to do business in English. How do you measure that?
Yeah, well, it is core to our mission. So our mission is to, build the best education in the world and make it universally available. And so to do that, we need to prove to our users and to ourselves that we're teaching really well. We've had some studies done that show just how efficacious we are. So, if you compare us to learning a language in a university, we are on par with that. You can probably do it faster on Duolingo. And, there's plenty of evidence we put on our website that shows those studies in detail. I think the bigger evidence is that we're continuing to add features that just really address some of the core desires of particularly English learners, like you referenced. They want to practice conversation. And so what we've done over the past, several quarters is add this feature called Video Call with Lily, where you can practice your conversation with one of our characters, Lily. She's a bit passive aggressive. She's not impressed. I've yet to impress her with my Spanish, and I don't think I'm going to, but I'm going to keep trying, which is the thing. And
yeah, I just want to say she's over your right. Well, we're looking at pictures of her on the screen right now. There's also she's next to Duo over your right shoulder. So Carol, that's Lily, who's not impressed. Who, by the way, in the last couple of months has unfortunately become a member of my family, it seems like, with doing this with our kids.
I just love that she's passive aggressive.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
Yeah, Lily is not impressed with me. And so that kind of practice, though, is really helpful for folks who are trying to learn English. They're trying to learn how to speak it. And that's what we've been able to do over the past little bit.
So you use AI in a few different ways. Lily's certainly one of them. When you think about the cost associated with this, you're not using AI, that a platform that you developed actually at Duolingo. You're outsourcing the technology. How do you keep those costs in control? Because that's pretty expensive tech, Matt. And you're watching the bottom line and you're watching margins here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it comes down to the fact that we have been using forms of AI, machine learning and whatnot for a long time in our company. The lesson you get served up, has for many, many years been based on a machine learning algorithm. And now with generative AI, with Video Call with Lily, and in some of our content creation, we are seeing that there's an amazing advancement in this technology that helps us do these things much quicker, and more, even producing more content than we thought was possible. For example, it took us about 10 years to create the first 100 courses. And then in less than a year with this new technology, we created more than 100 more. And so this technology is really powerful. The good news about it is that the costs are coming down naturally. We don't have to do much internally, although we are still doing things to optimize the costs. But just by the nature of this technology, we're seeing rapid declines in the cost. And we don't know for sure that that's going to continue. But if it does, I think that, the use of this will go up and margins will be good.